Before beginning today's session, I want to share something with everyone that today's session is actually very, very special. For a simple reason, today is the 150th session. And so, thank you everyone for joining with us every day because, of course, it would not have been possible without your presence. So, you actually give us power. So, thank you everyone. So, let's begin. And I think today is a Sunday because Usha ji is here, right? So we treat that day as a Sunday only when she's present, right? So after this thought of the day, let's spend a few more minutes together and let's figure out what helped us or what changed, right? So let's uh, show gratitude towards our mentor also, Mr. Imran, because everything, this show is happening just because of him, right? So we'll continue for a few minutes after the session. So let's begin. And similarly, the same beauty lies in today's topic because we are trying to identify our true priorities in life. So, once again, as I begin with the question, how many of you have ever spent 3 hours organizing your phone gallery, but somehow couldn't find 30 minutes for that important conversation with your family? Does that happen? Okay. Or spent an entire evening endlessly scrolling through reels, but said you don't have time to call that friend who's been going through a tough phase. And here's the uncomfortable truth: we always have time for what we prioritize. The problem isn't lack of time, it's lack of clarity about what actually deserves the time. So, and the same rule applies to all those who miss the session. So, today I want to share a simple but life changing concept. Life is like a jar. If you fill it with sand first, there's no room for the big rocks. But if you put the rocks in first, the sand will always fit around them. So, let's be honest about how most of us live our days. We confuse urgent with important. The WhatsApp notification feels urgent, but is it important? The deadline your boss just created feels important, but is it really more important than your health that you have been ignoring for months? And here's what priority confusion looks like in real Indian life. For students, you spend 4 hours perfecting the formatting of your assignment. That's equivalent to sand. But only 30 minutes actually understanding the concept, the big rocks. You remember every cricket score from last IPL, the sand, but can't remember the last time you had a meaningful conversation with your parents about your future, the rock. And for working professionals, you attend every office party and respond to every non critical email within minutes, equivalent to sand, but you haven't taken a single day off to recharge in 6 months. You know every detail about your colleague's personal drama, but haven't invested in learning that new skill that could advance your career. So it's for everyone. We spend hours researching the perfect restaurant for weekend plans, but haven't spent a single hour planning our financial future. So here's a story that perfectly illustrates this. My neighbor Suresh uncle is a successful businessman who is always busy. He would say, I'm working so hard for my family's future, while missing every one of his daughter's school functions, every family dinner, every weekend trip they planned. And one day, his daughter said something that shook him. Papa, you're so busy securing our future that you are missing our present. And he realized he'd be filling his jar with sand. Endless meetings, non essential networking events, perfectionist tendencies on minor projects, while the rocks, quality time with family, his health, and actually enjoying the life he was building, sat outside the jar completely. So, let me introduce you to a simple tool that will revolutionize how you see your daily choices. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix, named after the US president who said, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. So, box one, because urgent and important, let's discuss the crisis mode. So, this is the emergency room visit, the exam tomorrow you haven't studied for, the project deadline you procrastinated on. So, this box should be as small as possible because living here creates stress and reactive living. Then the second one, important but not urgent. That is the magic zone. This is where the rocks live. Exercise, learning new skills, building relationships, financial planning, preventive health checkups, having deep conversations with loved ones. So, this is where successful, fulfilled people spend most of their time. And then comes urgent but not important. So, that is like the distraction zone. Most phone notifications, unnecessary meetings, gossip, social media rabbit holes, saying yes to every social invitation. This box tricks you into feeling productive while stealing your energy for what truly matters. And then neither urgent nor important. So that are the time wasters. So endless Netflix binges, mindless scrolling, complaining about things you can't control, toxic conversations that drain your energy. So actually, most people spend 70% of the time in the time wasters and the distraction zone. The distraction zone, urgent activities but not important, and those neither urgent nor important, wondering why they feel unfulfilled despite being busy. So, the secret is to intentionally shift your time and energy to box two. That is the important but not urgent activities that actually build the life you want. So, here's the deeper question. How do you know what your real priorities are versus what others think they should be? Let me repeat. How do you know what your real priorities are versus what others think they should be? So, true priorities align with your long term values, not short term pressures. So, ask yourself these clarifying questions. In 10 years, what will you wish you had spent more time on today? What would you regret not doing if you looked back on this year? And when you feel most fulfilled and energized, what are you usually doing? So I know a software engineer who realized that despite earning well, he felt empty because he was prioritizing everyone else's definition of success. He was working 12 hours a day, of course, external pressure, while his real passion was teaching coding to underprivileged kids, the internal value. So he made a brave shift. He negotiated a 4 week, in fact, 4 day work week, in fact, a slight pay cut, and spent Fridays volunteering as coding instructor. 6 months later, he's not only happier, but also more creative and productive in his main job. His big rock wasn't more money, It was making a meaningful impact. How beautiful is that? So the pattern is clear. When your daily actions align with your deeper values, energy increases. And when they conflict, energy drains. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Every yes to one thing is a no to something else. So when you say yes to scrolling Instagram for an hour, you are saying no to reading that book. When you say yes to that unnecessary meeting, you are saying no to deep work time. So successful people aren't those who can do everything. They are those who can say no to almost everything so that they can say yes to what truly matters. So this means no to social gathering that drains your energy so you can say yes to quality time with people who matter. No to perfectionism on low impact tasks so you can say yes to excellence on high impact ones. And third, no to complaining about problems so you can say yes to solving them. And no to consuming endless content so you can say yes to create something meaningful. So here's a beautiful truth that will change how you see every day. You don't need to do more things. You need to do the right things. Your life quality isn't measured by how busy you are, but by how aligned you are. Think of your life as a garden. You have limited space, energy, and attention. Your soil, water, and sunlight. You can either scatter seeds everywhere and grow nothing well, or carefully choose a few plants that truly matter to you and nurture them into something magnificent. The rocks in your jar, your true priorities. They're not urgent. They don't scream for attention like notifications do, but they are the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built. So, right now, take out your phone or a piece of paper. I want you to write down your top three priorities for the next 6 months. Not what others expect from you, not what seems impressive, but what genuinely matters to your future and fulfillment, or to a graphology business. Think carefully. What are the three most important outcomes you want to achieve or experience in the next 6 months? And now here's the crucial part. Look at how you actually spend your days. Open your screen time report. Check your calendar. Think about your daily routine and ask yourself honestly, ask your daily actions aligned with these three priorities. If you wrote health as a priority, but spend 3 hours on social media and 0 hours exercising, there's misalignment. If you wrote family relationships, but haven't had a meaningful conversation with them in weeks, there's a gap. So choose one specific thing you will adjust today. Maybe it's setting a 30-minute limit on social media to create time for your priority. Maybe it's scheduling that important conversation you have been postponing. And maybe it's saying no to one commitment that doesn't serve your true priorities. Remember, small daily choices in alignment with your true priorities create extraordinary long term results. Big rock first, then the sand, fill the spaces. So your future self is counting on the choices you make today. So, with that thought, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you.